we have an article from scnr.com. DA Fani Willis's father. Hiding cash is a black thing. I kid you not. He was asked, Willis's father, quote, "Excuse me, Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay, but it's a black thing," Floyd said per Fox News. Willis had testified her father had encouraged her to always have cash on hand. Quote, "Most black folks, they hide cash," said Floyd. "They keep cash." So a lot of people, of course, are saying this is a weird racist thing, but I don't know what else to say or respond to it. I just want to point out that it doesn't matter what your race is. There are a lot of people who hide cash.
Yeah. And Phil, just back to your point about like what Elon did. I actually got banned after Elon took over on a trans issue. I just posted one of those Venn diagrams, like, you know, and like Fox did a story on it. It was crazy. It was literally just showing men, women, and then where it intersected in the middle, it said mental illness. I got a thing saying it was illegal what I said in France, and because it was illegal in France, I could not get my account back.
This nature as well.
They wouldn't give it back to me till I deleted it. But it took just the point. He went out saying, you know, this is the new town square. It's so important. And then even there on something like that, they forced me to comply. And eventually,
those are the EU rules.
Right.
Like the EU is different.
Right.
But the EU, what the EU has to say shouldn't impact what Americans have to say.
Or at least say my tweets won't show up there.
We should absolutely have no. So-called international law should have nothing to do with the United States.
American citizens should always reply with poop emojis to that stuff. Just
mad.
Yeah, like I don't care. I don't care what your laws are. I'm here. You know, I fart in your general direction.
Right, like that stupid Ice Spice song. Right?
I'm not
like a fart song.
Yes, it is, and
that song is like Idiocracy. It's like the summation of Idiocracy.
It's rough.
And Taylor Swift brought her to the Super Bowl, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, go to the Super Bowl. Just stop singing, like whatever you do, and you're not singing, so just stop doing whatever that is.
I had fun with the pictures of Taylor and Ice Spice at the Super Bowl. I kept being like, "Why is this young man stalking Lana Del Rey? Why is this?" Just like, who is this young man hanging out with Taylor Swift?
It's pretty funny. Does Travis know?
Yeah, does Travis know? It's not gonna. So.
Yeah. But. Do we think that hiding cash is a black thing?
Let's try again. We have this story from scnr.com. DA Fani Willis's father. Hiding cash is a black thing. John C. Floyd III, a former Black Panther, moved in with his daughter in the summer of 2019. So basically, if you guys were following the testimony, she would not testify today. She was supposed to. And the argument was they felt she was very strong in her initial testimony. Strong in terms of like burning herself to the ground. But for those that missed us yesterday, here's where we're at. So she pays her boyfriend a lot of money to take this job, the lead prosecutor against Donald Trump and his associates. He's reportedly paid substantially more than they normally get paid. He then pays for several lavish vacations for the DA.
On continents that she doesn't know where they are.
On continents where she doesn't know where they are. And she had filled out a form saying she had never received a gift from a prohibited person. So, we got trouble here. He paid for these vacations. She said she never got a gift. What does that mean? Oh, she said, I paid him back in cash.
Cash from my house.
Thousands of dollars in cash from my house that I had. And why? Well, I go to Publix and I take $50 and I just leave it and keep it. And my dad always told me to keep cash on hand. And she filibustered a lot. She's like, my dad would probably be upset with me because I only had about 9,000. And he always tells me to have more. So where we are today is she wouldn't testify, but her father testifies that, quote, "Excuse me, Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay, but it's a black thing," Floyd said per Fox News. "Most black folks, they hide cash. They keep cash." Well, I don't know why he would say it was a racist thing because he is a black man. He's allowed to say that he perceives this in the community. I would just like to point out that everybody hides cash. Like, you're supposed to have a certain amount of cash on hand, regardless of your race.
Look, I'm not telling anybody how to live or whatever, right? But like, if you have the ability to have some money on hand, it's not a terrible idea, So it's not like
my stepmom used to always say, keep some mad money around.
Personally, listen.
Wait. How much money in cash is reasonable to have for an emergency?
So for me personally,
I would say go ahead.
So for me personally, I like to have like just a couple gold coins because they're easily fun. You can sell them real easy, and because of inflation, they'll hold their value. So if you're worried about keeping some gold, now I'm just saying just a little bit, like 2 or 3 gold coins because if you need to sell them.
They've not really held their value.
Gold's like 2,000 now.
And it's been 2,000 for a while.
It was like 17. Well, in the early part of, in like 2010, 2011, I was buying them at 1750 or so.
Now Bitcoin,
yeah, of course.
Your 10-year return on Bitcoin is 15,000%.
I mean, I'm a dude that believes in Bitcoin the way that like Jack believes in Bitcoin. So I'm a little more than just it's
I do agree with you on gold.
Yeah,
I think anybody who's
just a little though.
You always want to diversify what your hard assets are to have
100%.
lying around, and I definitely have gold and silver, but I don't know that $9,000 in cash just lying around is a good idea.
Maybe dangerous. There's fires. There's.
But I mean, it
burglaries.
depends on how much you have, right? Like what percentage? Like obviously, Trump or Elon Musk, they might have millions in cash or hundreds of thousands.
No, that would be crazy.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, depending on a percentage of what you own.
No way.
You see like some of these athletes like Floyd Mayweather, he's shown $2 million on a table, $3 million.
They usually do that when they get paid.
Stupid.
They usually do that when they get paid too. They'll be like, if they have like a fight or whatever going on, they're like, okay, you have to get me cash, and they'll get cash.
Right. Yeah.
The casino, whatever, usually because they'll have it on hand, and they'll get a picture because look at how much cash I got.
Didn't Nathan Wade, the boyfriend, say that he got paid by his clients in cash?
I don't know. I can't.
I was watching The Five. I think it was like Greg Gutfeld and they were and Jesse Waters, and they were just like, "What lawyer takes large sums of money from their clients in cash?" He's like, "I don't have receipts for it. I can't track it."
That's the. I mean, yeah, that's like.
No, you get an invoice in your email and you click pay.
Like
that's what we do.
Right.
Yeah, if you do that
Unless
kind of
you
stuff,
do like a barter system. Remember, like Atticus and To Kill a Mockingbird. He took.
Phil, you're saying
barter.
a couple gold coins. You're talking about $4,000 to $6,000 in value, but that's not cash.
Yep.
That's just like. She has money to spend.
Yeah.
To pay back, she goes to Belize with thousands of dollars on her to give back.
That seemed wacky, taking like a whole bunch of American currency to Belize, and then you have to like tell them when you get off the airplane that you brought all this cash.
It's the worst thing to do.
And then you're like hanging around like this lady. You're clearly getting drunk because she likes the Grey Goose, driving around in taxis. She's just carrying massive amounts of cash. Is she leaving it in the hotel? Like that's what I started to wonder. Like, what are you doing with the cash as you're walking around?
Okay, did she say she paid him back in Belize when he bought the ticket? Because maybe she was like, I paid him back when we got home.
She said that she paid him back $2,500 in cash at one point. She said that.
I mean,
it's insane. I'm sorry, she's lying.
Yeah, that's the red flag. It's the easiest thing. That's why the government doesn't want people to deal in cash. That's why they're pushing us to try to have digital currency because there's no way to prove any transaction, and that's why anything illegal is done in cash. And it's just an easy excuse. Oh, I'm sorry, I paid cash.
That's a silver lining for the CBDC is way more nefarious than that. But yes, that is one of the reasons. Can
we just address the elephant in the room? Fani Willis was wearing her dress backwards.
No, it wasn't backwards. It wasn't backwards.
They put that actual.
Yeah, there's a zipper in the front, in the back. It's weird. It's an Amazon dress.
In the front and the back?
We went all through this, me and Hannah at work. We went all through pictures of this dress.
And it is not backwards.
I do not believe that it is backwards.
I saw a listing for the dress that looked identical to this. There was a woman who was like a fashion person who named the exact model and where it came from and who produced it, and the zipper's in the back.
Yeah, we saw that too because it has literally a zipper in the back and the front.
I think it's just so believable though because it's her. Like after seeing her speak and watching this whole thing unfold, it's like she seems like she would do it.
See this? See, it has a zipper in the back and the front.
That's weird, man.
Is that the one though?
Yeah, that's the one that the other lady was saying it was.
Usually the zippers are in the back anyway.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why everybody immediately was like, "Is that backwards?" Because women, the dress, the zipper's in the back, obviously. So when you're,
but this one has.
Do you know why men wear ties?
This one has a zipper in the front and the back.
But is that the right one?
This is what we determined when we decided we couldn't write an article about.
You want me to just text my wife and solve this?
Well, so all the news articles say, "Did she wear it backwards?"
Right,
because no one knows for sure.
Yeah, no one knows for sure.
Men wear ties because the tie covers your buttons.
Right.
And so the zipper would be in the back.
Well, and also...
it doesn't look good like that. I mean...
Also,
I know.
It's a terrible dress. I mean, it's an Amazon dress. You buy this dress on Amazon for $42.99. It's not going to be a good dress.
And she's got $9,000 cash laying around.
Right. Why is she buying a dress for less than $50 off of Amazon? I don't understand that one.
Yeah. It's funny that the dress became this big of an issue. When you see how many stories, it's just like,
I don't have a whole lot.
The dress is always the issue. Remember that? That black and that stripy dress, and no one knew what color it was.
Remember the
Broke
blue
the internet.
dress?
That's what I'm talking about.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the blue dress from the 90s.
The blue dress from the 90s. What, like
Bill Clinton?
Just a J-Lo thing?
Bill
Clinton.
Monica Lewinsky's dress.
That's the most impactful dress of the past 50 years for sure. I can't believe you didn't jump on that one. I was like, man.
Monica Lewinsky's dress. I don't know. I don't remember seeing that dress. I just remember Monica Lewinsky.
Her American flag pin is sideways.
Yeah.
Well, come on, that happens. You bump it, it'll spin.
The pin
Also,
stuff
she was clearly. I just think she needs better undergarments. Frankly, I mean, her was not looking great.
Oh yeah, she's out of shape.
Definitely a little bit of frumpy over there.
Well, you know what really bothered me about this testimony is how she filibusters. You can't get her to answer a single question. And the judge is just like, okay. And I'm like, are you kidding me, dude? They ask a basic question like, what did you have for lunch? Yes, what did you have for lunch? What is you? What's this? Like, you as a human being, do you eat lunch? What do you mean by lunch? Oh, my. And the judge is just like, I'll allow it.
What was funny, too, is she kept talking about how she doesn't eat lunch in her office, but then every time she was talking about doing stuff with friends, it was driving 5 hours to have lunch.
That's contempt. Yeah. It's just contempt. I mean, and again, this points to what we were talking about earlier, how like if the courts are not going to be, held accountable or actually uphold the law, then we have a massive problem. It's contempt. There's no two ways about it.
They allow it because of Democrats. Back to what you said about Bill Clinton. Remember when he was getting questioned during his deposition and he said, it depends what the meaning of is. And I'm like, are you allowing
so that's I get that. And that's lawyer stuff. And I get it that like that's one thing that pisses people off about lawyers. But that was a lawyer tactic. That wasn't the actual justice system. Right. So that was a lawyer and a president defending himself. This is the actual justice system. This is allowing someone in the justice system to just sit there and filibuster and deceive the court and stuff. This should be something that the court wants to prevent from happening, but they don't. They're just allowing it.
Well, you can interpret anything any way you want and say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. For instance, if you own two homes, you can claim one as your official residence while sleeping at the other. This creates a circumstance where you can claim to live at either. So someone says, did you invite the milkman to your house? To my house? What do you mean? Like to the place you live? Oh, no. You did not? No. Okay, well, now it's the place you live. Well, I interpret that in any way that's beneficial to me. So are you asking my official residence? That's where I legally live. Or are you talking about where I typically sleep? That's where I live. That's where I personally live. Mm-hmm. So depending on how I need to answer, you can just say whatever. And that's what she's doing.
Right.
So they're like, the place you rest your head. Got ya. I don't. So the answer is no. I didn't invite the person to the place I rest my head. Why? I never rest my head. I sleep sitting up. Prove I don't. It was a weird question, Your Honor. I mean, I was asked where I rest my head. What does that even mean? Why didn't they just ask me of my residence? And you can just say whatever you want.
And
that's
point
what she's
is,
doing.
well, and she's supposed to be like a sophisticated witness. Like you said, she's in the justice system. Like she knows what she's doing here. So this isn't like somebody they just pulled off the street. She knows what they're asking. She knows how to answer the question.
She should be treated
a higher standard.
Should be treated as a hostile witness. Should be held in contempt of court.
Well, they were trying to treat her as a hostile witness for a second. She was like, "No, I want to be here. I'm not a hostile witness."
They had to explain to her what adverse. Yeah, they were like adverse.
She didn't. A lot of people were making fun of her because she didn't know the difference between adverse and hostile.
Right.
I was just making fun of her because she didn't know what continent Belize was on.
I think most people need to understand something. So when I was 18, my brother and I were at a shopping mall in the south side of Chicago when, for seemingly no reason, security guards started beating the crap out of us. Mostly my brother. And then when I tried calling 911, because I'm like 3 dudes just started beating the crap out of my brother, they bashed his head on the ground. When I called 911, they grabbed my phone and turned it off. Then 911 called back. But at this point, they've pinned me to the ground and this big fat guy's sitting on me. And my phone's ringing. And I was like, that's the police. And he holds it in front of me and he presses end and he puts it down. What had happened was someone else had been accused of shoplifting. These overzealous guys saw us and assumed it was us. And when they found nothing on us, did we just randomly grab 2 customers and beat the crap out of them? So the police show up and I tell the officers, I'm the one who called 911 and I'd like to press charges. And the cop talked to the security guards. And the security guards And the security guards made up a story, claimed that me and my brother were screaming at people and swearing, causing a disturbance, and refused to leave. I said, check the cameras. That's not true. We were walking around shopping and nothing happened. And he goes, don't care. And he's like, we don't file cross complaints.
Wow.
When we went to court, what had happened was the reason they tried to they tried to get us to plead guilty. We said no. They ended up offering a plea agreement for both of us, which would be community service. And so ultimately we were like, it's just like 6 months later, my brother and I talked about it. And we asked the lawyer, like, what's the worst case? They charged my brother with assault and me with disorderly conduct. And they're like, what's the worst case scenario if Chris gets convicted? They were like, worst case, 6 months in jail. Probably not going to happen. What's the worst case for me? And he said 1 month disorderly conduct, likely community service if you do. And so my brother goes, I'll take the plea then, take the community service. And then I said, I'll go to trial because my worst case scenario is a month. And when the DA heard this, she audibly screamed in the court.
She screamed?
Yes. What? Like, why would we turn down a plea agreement for community service?
Because you don't want to put down that you're guilty if you're not.
Because we're innocent.
Yeah.
And so the judge was like, calm down. So my brother hears her scream. Our lawyer walks back over to us and my brother goes, what's her problem? Why does she hate me so much? And he was like, I don't know. And he goes, I want a trial. Tell her I'm going to trial. I don't care anymore. And so he goes, okay. He goes up. We see him talk to the judge. She screams again. The judge tells her to calm down. Our lawyer then told us what happened. He said at that point, the judge was shocked. And he's like, they both want a trial now? The plea agreement was 20 hours of community service at our own discretion. He's like, you could have a priest sign it. You're done. And that was the end of it. And my lawyer was like, why won't they take the deal? And our lawyer said, Your Honor, because they're innocent. And he went, Chambers. Here's what he told us. We are not going to pursue anything beyond this. Nobody will get in trouble because we have to work with these people. The security guards who beat the crap out of you work with us every day because it's a large mall with a lot of issues. So we're on their side. You're lucky. Case dismissed. And don't file a lawsuit. The judge actually asked us before dismissal. He says, you're not going to file a lawsuit, are you? And we went, no. And he goes, okay, dismissed.
Wow.
And that's the reason
a shocking story.
I became an attorney for those kind of stories that they get people that where you're up against it like that and like, well, just say you did something. Even if you didn't do it, just say you did it so we can get a little something from you and go forward. I mean, look at with President Trump right now, look at with all these people on the right that have a million allegations and accusations and they say, you know what, I'm fighting this. I'm not taking some plea deal to say I did something I didn't do, but that's what they want. And I think we got to get back to that principle now that you are innocent until proven guilty. And
the reason I tell this story, Fani Willis can do whatever she wants. You know why? Because they know once this is over, she will not be disbarred. Nothing bad will happen, and they've got to deal with her every single day. And so they're asking themselves, do I really want to fight with an elected DA? She's going to cause a nightmare for me. Nah, So when my brother and I, who were the victims, tried to get justice, they said, the cops are basically like, we work with these security guards every single day, and the last thing we want to do is create an acrimonious relationship because of you. And so we lose. We weren't able to sue or do anything. And even the judge was like, no one's going to file any lawsuits, right? And we were like, no. He goes, okay, case dismissed. Like as if to say, you say yes to me right now and we'll go back in that courtroom. We'll give you your trial.
Right.
But I don't know if I believe it. Like typically you ask for a trial, they dismiss your charges instantly.
Oh yeah.
They're well, are we really going to do this?
Or they'll hold out. So a lot of times what I would see is that right before, literally it'd be on the courthouse steps, like the day that the trial was supposed to take place. They'd say, oh, this guy's facing 10 years, for something, whatever. And then they're like, how about 2 years? How about 1? How about 6 months? It's like anything because they don't want to go through with it, but it's like a bluff. I think, honestly, it reminds me of like what Nikki Haley's doing now, just staying in this race till the end. I'm like, if you go through with this, her trial date is South Carolina, your home state, right? John Kasich won in 2016. What are you doing? And I think she's holding out till a day or two before to be like, give me Secretary of State and I'll endorse you. Give me something. I want something.
I think she's holding out
for Trump to go down.
Trump goes to prison. I don't got to win. I don't got to win
She's
anything.
the heir apparent because she has some delegates. She's been in the race.
Yep.
last one left.
That's it.
She doesn't have. Does she have delegates?
Yes, she
What
does.
have,
And
like
she'll
a
keep
couple?
getting
17
yeah,
or
because it's
something?
proportional. But
Yeah.
still, at that point, I think she's gambling, because if you go to your home state and get crushed 70-30 and nothing happens to him, your career's over.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think she cares.
you think she's just riding it
Yeah,
out?
Trump goes to jail and it's her. She's the nominee. And she's going to be thinking like, I bet after South Carolina, there is a strong possibility. I mean, I do see her potentially dropping out. I was surprised to see Vivek did. But she might say, we are talking about a president who's facing 100 years in prison. I don't think I should walk away from anything.
Right. Yeah, and
she does a thing where she doesn't move her mouth when she talks.
I can't stand it. And look, I just
like a
don't like
ventriloquist.
Nikki Haley. And like I
But
said,
she's her own puppet.
I told you guys, she endorsed my opponent, Claudia Tenney, in our last primary. She said she backed her. She had a Iron Ladies pack and backed her.
I'm
and it's
so
like
sick of
this.
that trash.
I know. It's like, are we Republicans, or are we like woke now? That it's
like Hillary Clinton.
Exactly.
Nikki Haley is running Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign.
Exactly.
You know,
I mean,
like I'm just
that
waiting for her
meme
to
where
get a
it's
pair of
the
pants.
Nikki Haley with the Hillary face like blended
for
with
sure.
the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, please. And that's why I'm terrified that if she gets Secretary of State or something, I just don't want to
But
see
why
her
would like
in
if
this administration.
I don't think that Trump would give her anything.
I think what it comes
Why
down
would he?
to is what
He wouldn't have
this
to.
20%, let's say 15%, 10% of Republicans that just want to vote for her because they don't want Trump. How do they get them back in the camp if Nikki Haley's adamantly against him? Like if they want her to come out with a full throat endorsement, be like, guys, you got to support the nominee. I took a pledge, support him. But if she doesn't do that, I think it's dangerous. So I don't want to give her anything.
Right.
I'm just saying, what does she want? And I think Tim's probably right that she's just going to keep rolling. But to me,
She wants Donald Trump to go to jail. Nikki Haley
Right.
wants Trump to go to jail.
and
That's what she wants.
and he can't. He can't.
She wants the same thing the Democrats want. She wants to give money to Ukraine.
Yep.
She's a Democrat.
She wants
Yeah.
Trump to go to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
She's basically a Democrat.
Uniparty establishment.
Well, didn't Trump appoint her to the UN or whatever?
yeah.
Trump, not a good hiring guy. You know, for all, he's good firing, I
Neither
guess.
is DeSantis. DeSantis is
Oh,
not a good
DeSantis
hiring
was
guy
worse.
either. Terrible.
I mean, maybe there just aren't a lot of good people to hire.
We kind of have a talent puddle on this side
No,
instead
like-
of a talent pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think Donald Trump's issue was that he thought he won. He thought, okay, I win. I'll bring in the guys they want to bring on. I'll negotiate with them. But they were behind the scenes being like, we're not going to work with this guy.
Yeah.
He thought he'd play ball. He brought in John Bolton. Why? The machine told him to. And he said, okay. And they still stabbed him in the back. Trump thought, I play ball. I win a second term. They were probably thinking like, if this guy gets a second term, he's off the leash. We better stop him now.
Yep.
Now I think Donald Trump gets hired. He may go a little ham. You know what
I
I mean?
think
Yeah.
if he'd have got a second term, it would have been no big deal. It would have been perfectly fine. For like Trump would have done the stuff that Trump does. The media would have behaved the way that the media does, but we wouldn't have. I don't think that we would have the clarity of what a problem the administrative state is, what a problem bureaucracy is, how much they behave on their own, what a problem security state is, what a problem the intelligence industrial complex, which is essentially the tech companies that are, because essentially and I've said this before, they're another arm of the military industrial complex now. So I think that we wouldn't have all of the insights that we have if Trump had gotten in and been elected again. I think that he probably wouldn't have gone after and made such a stink and had so many people be like, wait a minute, like people wouldn't have noticed.
No,
what was
he
going
wouldn't
on.
have been charged at all.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.